Hello, first form. We're going to be revising fractions today, and in particular, the harder bit, which is adding and subtracting fractions. But I thought just for a change, we might just see if we could start off with a Kahoot. I sort of messaged you about that yesterday and this morning. If you haven't got your phone to hand, that's not a problem. It's only going to be a few minutes. Just see if you can work out what the answers are and just write the answers down, which option you think it is at your end. Obviously, I won't be able to see what you thought, but that doesn't matter. But I just thought we'd have a quick game of Kahoot just on some of the easier fraction stuff. So let's see how this goes. So I'm just going to see if I can play this Kahoot. Now, just waiting for it to upload. Bear with me. Right. Your Kahoot is now loading. So let me see how many of you are actually able to play. So if you could just put down your first name, don't put down like nicknames, because I'm trying to see who's playing out there. So let's just see how many of you are able to do this. So Ralph is there, excellent. So Ralph, just turn this down a bit. Cecily, Grace, Dan, oh, loads of excellent. So good, loads of you. Right. Right. Go on, I want proper names, please. Proper names, so I know who you are. Who's used? Okay, so let's have proper names, please. So so just going to boot out Goose. You just put in your first name, please. Hannah, I'll let you off because I assume it's Henry. Okay, so if whoever would Goose, they can just come back in the proper first name, that would be fab. Okay, lovely. Right, so that's not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's give it a go. So this is first question. Convert 2 3/4 into a top-heavy fraction. Can you remember how to convert 2 3/4 into a top-heavy fraction? I'm not going to give you the full time, so I'm going to. I've got 9 answers. I think at 30 seconds, I'm going to bail. Okay. So, right. 5 of you got it right. Okay. So let me just remind you how to convert into a top-heavy fraction. Okay. So 2 3/4. So it's here we're dealing in quarters because it's 3/4. How many quarters makes a whole? Well, it's 4 quarters make a whole. So 2 wholes would be 2 lots of 4, which is 8 quarters. Add on the 3 bits, that would be 11 quarters. So 11 quarters is the right answer. In short, the quick way to do it, you do 2 4s are 8, then add on the 3, 9, 10, 11. So Ralph leading the way, Dan second, Sophie third, Henry fourth, and Gabby fifth. Okay, lovely. So let's move on. Question 2. See if you can get to another similar one. Convert 5 2/3. All right. Again, I'm not going to give you the whole minute. We will bail at 30 seconds. Right. Well done, 9 of you. Excellent. Well done. Let's have a look at the leaderboard. Ralph just beating Dan, Sophie close in third, Henry and Gabby on the leaderboard. Right, next one. So we're now going the other way. So you've now got to convert a top-heavy fraction into a mixed number. Eight, well done. So we're dealing in fifths. So you do your 5 times table. We can get 3 lots of 3 holes, can't we? Could 3 5s of 15, and then 2 bits left over. So that's 3 2/5. So let's see, is Ralph still on the? Yes, he is, but Sophie's just overtaken Dan. Right. Question 4. Another one of those to practice. Convert 11 1/3 to a number. Ah, 10 out of 11. Very well done, guys. Let's have a look at the leaderboards. Is Ralph still there? Yes, he is. Oh, look how close that is. Okay, just 5 points in it. Sophie is on the highest answer streak. Right, let's keep going. Right, now, which of these is not an equivalent fraction to 4/6? Which one is not the same as 4/6? Well done, guys. Well done. Okay, so 4/6 is not. Okay, that should have been 8/10. No, it should have been 8/12. Sorry. No, what should it be? Hang on, let me have a look. Which is not is yes, 8/10 is not. Okay, you double the top and you double the bottom, you get 8/12. You do not get 8/10. Okay, right. So next question. So let's have a look at the leaderboard. Oh, Dan's rocketed to the top. But don't worry, Ralph, there's still only 11 points in it. Question 6. Now, this is what we're going to be moving on to today. When you add or subtract, you've got to get a common denominator. So what would we put both of these over? What would be the common denominator? Can you remember? About 3 seconds before I'm going to skip. Right, well done, 8 of you. Okay, so what do 3 and 4 both go into? Well, they're both factors of 12. Okay, easiest way to get a common denominator is just to multiply the numbers together. 3 4s are 12. Okay, so let's have a look at the leaderboards. Dan still holding on. Cecily on the run. Right. Question 7. So can you work this out? We'll see how we get on. When the marks start dropping, we'll move on. So we're not actually working it out at the moment. You've just got to put them both to being over 12. So what do you do to top and bottom to the first one? What do you do top and bottom to the second one? Well done, 6 of you. Well done. Okay, so we know 12 is going to be the common denominator. So for the first one, how do we get 3 to 12? We multiply by 4. So we have to multiply the numerator, the top number, by 4. 2 4s are 8. And then with the 3/4, right, we want to make it over 12. How do we convert 4 into 12? We multiply by 3. So multiply top and bottom by 3. 3 3s are 9. So blue is the answer. Leaderboard, let's have a look. Dan still quite nicely ahead. What's that? 16, 21 marks ahead. Okay, Poppy on the rise. Right. Okay, so this bit should be okay, hopefully. All right. So you've now got the common denominator. What do we do? Are you going to fall into the trap? Well done, 8 of you. Only 1 of you fell into the trap, okay? When you've got the common denominator, you just simply add the numerators. You add the top numbers. 8 and 9 is 17. You do not add the denominators. You do not do 12 and 12. Think about it. If you had a third, add a third. You know, if you ate a third of a pizza and then another third of a pizza, you've just had 2/3. Okay, so once you've got that common denominator, just add the numerators. Okay, leaderboard. Oh, Cecily, look at that on the rise. Right, well played, Cecily. Let's see, very close still though. So question 9. Now we've got to convert this into a mixed number. Okay, so this is completing our answer. Well played, 7 of you. Remember, you're dealing in 12ths here. So how many 12s can we get into 17? Well, that's only 1, isn't it? 1 12 is 12, 2 12s are 24. So we can get 1 whole out of this. How many bits are left over? 5 bits are left over. 17 take away 12. So that's 1 and 5/12. Leaderboard is Cecily, but Ralph on the rise. Ralph on the rise. Right, okay. 2 to go. Okay, so how do we multiply fractions, guys? What's the rule for multiplying fractions? Give you a clue, it's the easy one. Okay, well done, 8 of you. It's the easy one. When you're multiplying, it's just top times top, bottom times bottom. 2 3s are 6, 3 5s are 15. So leaderboard, Cecily first, Sophie R second, Ralph third. Right, final question. Now, can you remember what we do to divide fractions? What is the first step of our workings? Oh, right. Only 4 correct. So this could be interesting. Did Cecily get it right? We will find out. So how do we divide fractions? You keep the first one the same, so that's still 2/3. You change it from being a division to a multiplication, but you switch the second fraction over. The 3/5 becomes 5/3. So 2/3 multiplied by 5/3 would be your first line of working. So exciting times. Let's have a look at the leaderboards. Let's have a look. What happens? Third is Sophie. Well done, Sophie. Second is the other Sophie. And top with 10 out of 11 is best. Right. Well done. And then fourth is Abby. Well, okay, good. I think that works well. So now I'm going to move over to the proper of our lesson. Okay, so that was a very useful revision tool. I hope you enjoyed that. So you can put your phones away now. Okay, we're now going to move over to right. So let me just go over it to our lesson. So let me find it. There we go. Whoops, wrong one. That's not it. Sorry. That's a very old one. That's a PSE one I did. I don't know why that's coming up. Right, that's the one I was trying to click on. That one there. Okay, so Okay, so we're carrying. So this is now back to really what on my plan is today. So just revising the adding and subtracting side of fractions, and your homework is going to be Hegarty 66. So I'm just going to model one or two of these. Okay, all right. So now we were saying when we were just doing that Kahoots that when you add or subtract, you need a common denominator. Now, one way to get a common denominator is to multiply the two denominators together. So here you absolutely could do 9 times 27 and get a really big common denominator and take it from there. That is fine. And when you simplify your answer, you will get the same answer. But if you can spot that one is a factor of the other, we can just choose to make the right-hand side one here the common denominator. Because 9 goes into 27, let's go and keep 27 as our denominator. So our second term is still 2 over 27, but let's go and change our first term into being something over 27. So what have I done to that 9 to turn it into 27? I've multiplied it by 3. So I've also got to multiply the numerator by 3, giving me 3 4s are 12. So I have an equivalent fraction. 4/9 is the same as 12 over 27. Then once I've got that common denominator, I can just take away. Now be careful. 12 take away 2 is 10, but the denominator stays the same. 10/27. So that was an example of the types of questions you're going to be getting 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And so some more practice. Okay, well, this is very similar. Okay, this is very similar. So here, clearly, I can choose. I could have 27 as my common denominator, but I can make 9 my common denominator. How did I turn that 3 into 9? I've multiplied by 3. So multiplied by the 2 by 3 as well to get 6. So 6 over 9 is an equivalent fraction to 2/3. I've just multiplied top and bottom by 3. You then, once you've got the common denominator, you just do the sum. We're adding here. 6 add 1 is 7. Keep the common denominator the same. Okay, now it's not 2 does not go into 5 here, so we're not able to do that. So we do have to get a common denominator, and a common denominator is 10. They both go into 10. So we can go and make 10 our common denominator. So what did I do to that 5 to turn it into 10? I multiplied by 2. So 5 2s are 10. I also multiply my numerator by 2. 2 2s are 4. And then over here, how did I turn that 2 into 10? I multiplied by 5. Do the same to the numerator, 5/10. Once I've got my common denominator, I can just add or subtract. 4 add 5 is 9. So our final answer is 9/10. Now, a bit trickier. I see towards the end of the questions, you get something like this. So we're going to have to find something that 3, 5, and 6 all go into. Now, I suggest you start off with the bigger two. 5, 6 are 30. Does 3 go into 30? Yes, it does. So we can go and make a common denominator here, having them all over 30. Okay, 5 and 6 go into 30 because 5 6s are 30 and 3 10s are 30. So let's change them all into being over 30. So for a third, I'm multiplying top and bottom by 10. For a fifth, I'm multiplying top and bottom by 6. And for that third one, I'm multiplying top and bottom by 5, because 5 6s are 30. So I've got that common denominator. I can now just add my numerators. 10 add 6 and 5 is 21. So 21 over 30 will be my final answer there. Now, just a few with mixed numbers. Now, we practiced this with the Hegarty. So just make sure you're comfortable that that's 3 over 2. And 2 7s are 14, 15, 16, 17 over 7. Okay, 2 7s are 14, add the 3 is 17. Now my common denominator here is going to be 2 7s are 14. So 2 times 7 is 14. So 7 3s are 21. And 7 times 2 is 14. So I'm multiplying top and bottom here by 2, which is 34. 34 add 21 is 55 over 14. Now you have to go and read what Mr. Hegarty asks here. Does he ask for it as an improper fraction, meaning a top-heavy fraction, or does he ask for the answer as a mixed number? You just have to read the question. If he was asking for it as an improper fraction, that would be our final answer. But as a mixed number, how many 14s go into 55? Well, that is 3. Because 3 lots of 14 is 42. So that's 42 with 13 bits left over. Okay, so just read the question there. Is Mr. Hegarty asking for an improper fraction, which would be that answer, or a mixed number, which would be that answer? Okay, and that's it, folks. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the Hegarty. I know it makes the lesson a bit longer, but I just think that was just a nice, fun, different thing to do. And it was also very good revision for what we were setting up to do. So if you could now just go and, as your homework, please work through Hegarty number 66, that would be fab. Bye, guys.